You know what time it is. It's time to hang out with Mr. Coop. With Mr. Cooper. With Mr. Cooper. With Mr. Cooper. Get the latest scoop. From Mr. Cooper. From Mr. Cooper. From Mr. Cooper. Hang with Mr. Coop. With Mr. Cooper. With Mr. Cooper. With Mr. Cooper. Get the latest scoop. From Mr. Cooper. From Mr. Cooper. Yeah.
Welcome to the Big Scoop with Coop. I'm your host, Coop. Big shout outs to everyone that's listening on Apple Podcasts, Pandora, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, wherever you're listening to. Big shout outs to you. If you want to catch the video version of this show, make sure you go to my website to catch full episodes at thebigscoopwithcoop.com. Also on YouTube at youtube.com/thebigscoopwithcoop. You can also catch a 15-minute preview of this episode right here on Instagram at Big Scoop with Coop. All right, people, enough about me. Today's guest, this man is on the road. He is a producer. He is an actor. You mix them all together, you got one person that's doing big things in the entertainment industry, television and movie industry also. Ladies and gentlemen, I have David Bianchi. Now, like I said, David is doing great things right now. He has two big projects that came out. He got an episodic project that's called RZR, 8 episodes up there. Great show. Make sure you want to catch that. Also, he has a new movie out that's called Catalyst. Now, we're going to sit back and relax with David. We will hear about his career. We will hear about RZR. We will hear about Catalyst. We'll hear about some of the shows that he's been in also. So sit back and relax. Enjoy this episode of The Big Scoop with Coop with David Bianchi. Welcome to the show.
Hey, what's up, Coop? How you doing, man? Thanks for having me.
Everything is good. Yes, sir. I'm in North Carolina right now. The weather is finally spring-like. I'm happy. I'm glad the winter is over. I want some warmness. I'm tired of walking out with coats and Timbs and everything else. So I'm loving this day.
Man, I got a funny story about Carolina, man. I was in North Carolina shooting a small movie, and I was in, I think it was like Rock River, North Carolina or something like that, somewhere around there, right by the border of North and South. And I was staying at this hotel, and Carolina got hit with, I think they called for an advisory for 8 inches of snow. Carolina got hit with powder. I've seen more powder in a Hollywood bathroom than I saw on the parking lots of North Carolina. And let me tell you, bro, the hotel shut down. They made the staff stay there in rooms overnight so they could be there the next morning to take care of the housekeeping. I was like, and I'm from upstate New York. I'm from Rochester. Like, we wake up with 16 inches overnight. You know what I mean? You shovel your way, your car is gone. You can't even see it because of the snow drift. And that's my Carolina story, man. I'll never forget it, man. It was something. It was something to see the panic, but it was a lot of fun.
So, David, I will tell you straight up and tell everybody in the NY this has never been in North Carolina. Anytime you hear 8 inches, change that to centimeters or millimeters. It's never going to be that. Now, don't get me wrong. We did get some snow about a month ago, and we got about, surprisingly, 5 to 6 inches. Surprising.
Over Carolina, yeah, that'll shut the city down.
It will, but New York will laugh at us. They'll be like, "Dude, you shut down for this?" But that's the truth. That's the truth. Everybody's watching in New York right now. If you come to North Carolina and they say you'll get snowed in, just go out anyway. Trust me, it's not what you think it is.
That's it. Yes. Carolina and Atlanta, y'all can't handle snow.
Definitely can't. Man, David, like I was telling everybody though, you doing big things in this industry, in the television and movie industry. You have been seen on so many shows that everybody sat down and got their popcorn for, or sat down and got their meal and they're watching straight on their television. But before we even talk about that, let's start from the beginning. When did you first realize that you want to get into the television and movie industry?
Well, it's a good, I remember acting out TV commercials on the swing set with the kids in the neighborhood in 2nd grade. So we would switch. We'd be on a swing set as the audience, and then 2 kids would be acting it out, and then we'd switch. So, I was doing improvisation before I knew what improv was. And I think I painted my first acrylic painting when I was in 1st or 2nd grade. My mother framed it. So I've always been an artist. My first time on stage in front of an audience of over 100, I was in 3rd grade. And I always did theater throughout high school, but I never really took it seriously until I went to theater school at Arizona State in 2001. And that was already after, way past high school. So I was late. I was an entrepreneur and a promoter. I was a rave promoter for a long time in upstate New York. But I had done a bunch of community theater and this and that. But I do remember, man, when I was 15 years old, I was watching a very famous movie, and I'll leave it nameless. And I was watching a very famous actor who we all know do a very emotional scene that he did incredibly well. But I remember sitting on my couch with this girl. I don't even remember her name anymore. I looked at her and I said, I was 15, I was just like, whoever that was. And I just looked at her, I was like, I can do that better. And she looked at me like I was crazy. And, I just always knew. I always knew that I had what it took. And I've always told my friends growing up and through, teen years in high school and teen years in college, I was like, my art is worth millions. They just don't know it yet. And I've always said that. I've always said that. There's never been a piece of me, Coop, that ever believed that I wasn't going to be an award-winning actor. There was never a fiber of my being. So, I got into a lot of trouble when I was in upstate New York. And I remember I had to do community service, and, I was in some orange jumpsuits at one point, but I would pick up trash on the side of the highway and I would say, I'm becoming an actor. I'm becoming an actor. I'm becoming an actor. And I went to Arizona State University, and I'd never graduated from high school. I got my GED in the local strip mall because I got expelled from a bunch of schools. But this is all public information. And so, off the back of that, I went to theater school at Arizona State, and I got my BFA, and I graduated magna cum laude. And, because I was in my purpose, man. I was in my purpose. I graduated with distinction at the top of my class. And I wrote co-wrote one of the first ever hip hop plays at Arizona State University, was producing slam poetry events. I went to national slams, and then, was a slam poet, and, went to 2 seasons of Versus and Flow. And so I've always been a performer and widely known as a spoken word poet. And so performance was always a part of me. And when I got to LA, I was convinced Hollywood was waiting for me, but was I sorely mistaken? they didn't give a shit, dog. So I was a waiter and a bartender for 15 years. I got my SAG card doing extra work. I just wanted to be close to it. I just wanted to be near a set, watch people do it, consume it. I directed my first short film when I was in theater school in 2003, and I didn't even know what a cinematographer did. I didn't know what a production designer did. I had no idea how to cast. I just knew how to bring people together. And I knew how to motivate people. And so off the back of that, I was just like, look, I'm going to make a movie. I don't know how to do it, but I'm going to do it. And I did it. And so so when I got to LA in 2005, I produced my first short film for like $500, and it was told entirely in spoken word poetry. It was my first cinema film, spoken word cinema. And that little $500 film ended up going on to play festivals all over the world. And then that's when the bell rang, and I was like, okay, this is it. I can create my own opportunities. I can put myself in front of the camera, and I can continually give myself purpose.
Wow.
That's one of the biggest things, is really ultimately is purpose.
That's true.
A lot of people don't have purpose, and that's where they fail.
I agree. Now, David, I tell a lot of people, this is season 12 of my show. So I told a lot of people in the past, I told a lot of my people that's come on that I've interviewed, if you feel it inside of you, it could be at a young age. It doesn't even matter, young or old, but if it sticks inside your head and you get that feeling inside your heart, it's meant for you to do. I don't care if it could be outside of this entertainment industry. You could be the best plumber in the world. You could be the best janitor, repairman, whatever. If it's in you and you got the skills, it's not going to come out of you. I mean, far as it goes for leave you skill set wise, it's going to pull you until you start doing it. And look at you, man. You was on a swing set doing this thing, and now you are on a movie set doing this thing, still doing sets, 2 different total levels. That's what I'm talking about, David. That's what I'm talking about.
And not only being on set, but building the set.
Exactly.
So creating and hiring hundreds of people and providing job opportunities for hundreds, thousands of people throughout the course of my career in LA. It's funny that you say that. When it's in your head, you can't let it go. I was at an Academy screening last night, and I got to listen to David Blaine because he was speaking about his new docuseries on Nat Geo produced by Disney. And in the show, he kisses a king cobra, a wild king cobra, which is arguably one of the most venomous snakes on the planet, and a single bite can kill an elephant.
Yes.
He has no skill in snake charming, But he described how when he saw the master that trained him on this series, he watched the master kiss the top of this king cobra face to face. And he said, I knew it was dangerous. I knew that it was potentially lethal. But when I saw that image of him kissing that cobra, it was burned in my mind and I couldn't sleep.
See, and that's what I'm trying to say right there, David. Now, you can watch a person do stuff like that and the skills are there. But I'm just talking about me. Nobody else is watching this worldwide. There are certain things I would say no to. I am not kissing the king cobra. I'm going to let the professionals handle that part. I'm just letting you know straight up. I'm not
doing it either, dog. Yeah. That does not burn in my head.
Exactly. Now, David, did you have any mentors that help you out from the beginning up to your career now?
No, absolutely, man. You know, I work to give information and support away freely nowadays because it was so freely given to me when I was coming up. You know, I talked about third grade. I played Captain Hook in Peter Pan. Now, I'll date myself. This was the late 80s when this was happening. So at that time, Captain Hook was notoriously a Caucasian character.
Yep.
And I was at an international school that was predominantly Caucasian in Mexico City. There is a teacher, I don't remember this teacher's name, who cast a skinny brown kid with charisma as Captain Hook because he saw something in him. Wow. There's conceivably that if that teacher had not cast me in that, maybe I wouldn't have believed that the bug was possible. Maybe I wouldn't have believed that this was for me. Maybe I wouldn't have had the opportunities. Maybe that was the watershed moment. I don't know. But life is full of invisible mentors. They're not always active mentors. See, the universe is always at play, and the universe is always teaching you. The question is, are you in the frequency to hear it and receive it? Right? Because you can be in a frequency of abundance, or you can be in a frequency of scarcity. Either way, you're right. And when you receive messages of abundance, those are invisible prophets. You can go to the liquor store and receive a word.
It's true.
You can go to Gelson's or the Ralph's store over some cucumbers and receive a word. You know, and so my mentors have been people that have touched me, and I do try to stay close to people that are doing things bigger than I am. What is the word? You want to have two people above you that inspire you, two people below you, and then a few people that are at your equilibrium, right? Because I never want to be the smartest person in the room. But everything that's good in my life, and Danny Trejo said this to me when I was producing a film that he was in with me, and he says, you know, David, everything that's good in my life is a direct result of helping somebody else. And, you know, when I think about it in that context, for many, many years, I didn't believe that. I always thought it was about me. I'm running the show. I got this. It's me, but it's not. It's so not about me. It's so much about the process. And the process involves communities of people.
That's so true.
So I know I didn't give you a direct answer, but
actually you did.
But the universe is always at play. I'm always looking for the word.
No, you gave a direct answer because you went from your third grade teacher to the invisible, let me do it like this, the invisible mentors that you do not see that's playing a role in your life every day. So no, you answered that question perfectly. And I want to, ladies and gentlemen watching worldwide, let me just put this in real quick. What David just said was some deep gems. Look around you. Look through your phone. Look through the people that you're in contact with every day. The people you're not in contact with every day. Those people are probably impacting your life in some way to give you direction of where you're trying to go in life. Hold on to those people close because you don't know. Your next step could be that person you have not talked to in a month, or it could be the person you just talked to 5 minutes ago. So make sure you keep them close to you. That's what I'm talking about. Now, David, you did something else, man. I want to talk about. I kind of mentioned it a little bit. You went from playing Peter Pan to playing Manny on Queen of the South. I know I jumped a huge gap in your resume. I know that, but how excited were you to receive that role of Manny in Queen of the South?
I mean, I was mind blown. I mean, you know, that whole story on how that happened. I was living in LA and I had an agent in Atlanta who still represents me. Shout out to Tay Smith. you know, I was working as a local hire in Atlanta, which means if I got hired in Atlanta, I would have to fly myself out, put myself up, and absorb all those costs. Because as far as I'm concerned, any opportunity to be on television is a gift. I don't care if it's, hey, Bob, how you doing? Or if it's a dramatic, you know, procedural monologue. Either way, it's a big deal. And when I booked that job, I was just blown away, you know, because you and I, men of color, specifically me as an Afro-Latino of Brazilian descent, there's what I call the reality, which is there are hundreds of millions of Afro-Latinos all over the world. Venezuela, Caracas, Brazil is the biggest African population in the world besides Africa.
Yeah.
Right. But the perception in Hollywood is that if you're Latino, you look like Antonio Banderas, Penelope Cruz, you know, Sofia Vergara. In other words, you're Euro-Caucasian.
Right.
You're Latino, but you're of Caucasian Euro descent. And so we've been programmed to believe what Latinos are supposed to look like, that when Black folks speak Spanish on camera, we as audience members get confused. Because we have been programmed to believe what Latino stars are supposed to look like. The same way that Hollywood has programmed the entire world to believe what movie stars are supposed to look like, going back to Thomas Edison's technology, right? So now, when you put it into that context, this is going to give you a little bit of understanding why it was so profound for me. Because I was cast as an Afro-Mexican. Those showrunners saw the performance in me. They saw the delivery, and they said, we're going to go against the grain here. We're going to cast a brown man as a Mexican, even though, true story, 22% of the Mexican population is of Afro descent. Many people don't know that Afro-Mexicanos exist. Yeah, they're down in Oaxaca, on the Gulf side of Veracruz, because the colonialists pushed them to the southernmost part of the country, right, to the coastline, because they didn't want them to intermix in the capital. Right? Because of racism and because of doctrinization and colonialism.
Right.
But these showrunners, they were willing to say, no, that we should cast this Afro guy of Afro descent and he's Mexican. Absolutely. And so for me to walk on that set and be with Bote and be with, the incredible cast of Queen of the South, to me was just a dream come true. Yes. It really, really was. And, and Alice Braga, who played the Queen of the South, I mean, she's from Brazil. And she's just a wonderful, wonderful spirit. And Hemki Madera, who plays Bote, is incredible. And, the entire cast, I learned so much.
So what was it like when the cameras wasn't rolling? What was the environment of the cast on Queen of the South when the cameras wasn't rolling?
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, it's all love. Everything in a TV show or on a set is always a trickle-down effect, right? Mm-hmm. If you go on, and I've been on both sets, so if you go on a Cameron Crowe set, it's music and games in between cameras and rolls and takes. Like, he'll literally pump music really, really loud and be dancing and singing rock and roll. If you go on a Steven Spielberg set, it's all focus. Like, it's everybody's moving. Everything is hard edge, 90 degrees, very metric, almost military-like, and to a certain degree of precision. And it's almost, in some cases, when you're around like the center of the core, it's almost like, it feels like almost like speak when spoken to kind of energy.
Yeah.
And so, depending on who's directing and who's running the show, that creates the culture of the set, right? And Queen of the South, it was just energetic. It was welcoming. Two of the showrunners are women. And it's a show about, Latinos, in America. And I think everybody on that show, and Dailene Rodriguez and Benjamin, they're all so aware that even as executive producers, mm-hmm. they were aware that it was a gift for them to be there. Alice Braga was aware that it was a gift that she had that position. Day one, Alice Braga came up to me and she just, so nice to meet you, and just treated me with so much love and welcomed me into this family. And immediately I was like, oh, wow, this isn't intimidating at all. I'm here to work. I belong here. And they made me feel like I belong.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Whenever you're on a comfortable set like that, yeah, it's going to bring the best out on you. If you got a tense set, it's going to show through the camera. It will. I've been on plenty of indie movies and I've seen that. If mm-hmm. it's tense, it's not going to be a good day at work. Yeah. You're relaxed, you're good. It's going to go. Now, talking about running the show and everything, I want to talk about it right now. I don't even know where I want to start at. Do I want to start with Razor? Or do I want to start what's in your background right now? No, we will say the best for last. Let's talk about Razor real quick. Now, you've done a movie and you ran this show for Razor. Tell everybody what this movie is about and how can people see it.
Okay, let me see. Let me, since we're on that, let me just do this real quick. Okay, here we go. All right. Since we're gonna talk about Razor. So Razor takes you, I'm the writer, creator, executive producer, and I play the lead. It's an 8-episode short form series that got nominated for a Primetime Emmy Award for Mina Suvario's performance. I'm incredibly honored to have created something that went to the highest levels of television. Like, the Emmy Award is the biggest recognition in television. It doesn't get any bigger. And I'm just incredibly honored. It takes you into the world of neural implants, hacker culture, cryptocurrency, and black market crime. So think like Mr. Robot meets cyberpunk with like Blade Runner injected into it. And, I play the lead character, Grim, who's a combat veteran in a dystopian Los Angeles, who creates a brain implant that he installs into his own brain that allows him to access all data instantaneously at the speed of thought. And so with that technology in a den of thieves, it makes him infinitely dangerous when everybody is coming after him and his life for the technology that's in his brain. And he has to play, sort of walk the line of his own moral compass when he has the ability to have a God complex because of his infinite power. But he believes he can make the world a better place through this technology. So we ask a lot of really like big questions around like the role of artificial intelligence and brain computer interface technology and brain implants, and where is the world going and how dystopic are we actually getting? And audiences love it, audiences love it. And the cast is great. It's me, Mina Suvario, who you know from American Beauty and American Pie, Emilio Rivera from Sons of Anarchy and Mayans, Richard Cabral, Primetime Emmy nominee for Mayans, Sons of Anarchy, and then also we've got Christopher Marquette, and Danny Trejo is also in it as well. It's definitely a strong cast.
Man, strong is an understatement, man. You coming in throwing blows on that cast. That's what you're doing. Yeah. How can everybody see Razor?
All right, so you can, if you go to film.gala.com, film.gala.com, and you could find Razor. It's spelled RZR, just like here in the background. And you can go check out Razor, or just go to my Instagram. The links are in there as well. But yeah, you could just do a Google search and find Razor. And we're going to be releasing it this year. Razor is going to be releasing this year as a feature film worldwide.
Ladies and gentlemen watching worldwide right now, make sure you go check out Razor. He's going to release it as a feature film. But if you want to see it in an episodic series, go check it out. Not right now. You're watching this interview. After this interview, go to the website, go to a social media, click on those links. If you want to get hooked on the show, you know what to do. That's what you do. Make sure you go watch Razor, and I promise you, you will feel sharper than you did before you start watching. Saw what I just did right there, Razor sharp. That's what I'm talking about. Now, watch this, ladies and gentlemen. Watch this movie Magic that David's about to pull real quick. Now, let's talk about Catalyst. Let's go on and get this done.
Let's go.
Yes, sir. Let's see. Look at that. Bow. See? Told the movie Magic right here on the Big Scoop with Coop. That's how it gets down. Now, tell everybody about this movie that you're doing now, Catalyst. We see it on your coat. We see it in your background. We know it's on Amazon Prime. No, yeah. I'm not going to spoil that. I
like it. It says right here that I got producer actor David Bianchi. I love it.
See? Now, tell everybody about Catalyst. How did this come? How did this form from your head to what we're seeing in your background right now? And what is this movie about?
Yeah, so Catalyst is a confined science fiction thriller. It's dark, it's gritty, it's intense. 7 men wake up in a warehouse. They don't know how they've gotten there. They got shock collars around their necks, and they're being watched by their captors. And they have every reason to hate each other. But if they attack each other, they get shocked like caged dogs and they all perish. And so they have no choice but to do what? Communicate. Because if I can't attack you, I have 2 choices. I either cower away or I open my mouth and I start to communicate, because violence is a side effect of fear, right? Now, communication is the transition to understanding and removal of ignorance. You see, because in this room, we've got 7 men. One character was molested by a priest when he was a child. And also in that room is a priest who was transplanted by the archdiocese for molesting boys. My character is a thief who lost one of my men to a white officer. In that room is a white officer who was acquitted for killing an unarmed black man. And then we've got an American Muslim who was about to blow himself up, became radicalized. And also in the room is a black sociology professor who watched the 9/11 towers fall. So you've got a pressure cooker in this room of all these men that have every reason to hate each other, but are pushed to the brink of death and are forced to communicate.
Good gosh.
Yeah,
you know what? This seems like this takes Saw, how can I put this in the right way? How the people met up in Saw and they didn't know each other. Mm. It's like you just took that and put it on steroids. That's what you have done. And it's like it's more suspenseful though. You want to know what's going to happen next to all of these people. Oh my goodness. David, go on to say it, man. How can everybody, it's in your background right now, but how can everybody watch?
Go check, listen, Catalyst is out. The cast is great. It's myself, Noel G, who you know from Fast and the Furious, Training Day. You know, you got Patrick Kilpatrick from Minority Report, Melanie Liburd from the latest Bad Boys with Will Smith, and also from This Is Us, as well as I think she was just recently on Power as well. Yeah. Mel Liburd is just incredible. We were just talking on Instagram Live just before this. It's on Prime Video right now, Catalyst, or you can go on the Apple Store. You can get it on Apple. So definitely check it out right now. It's also on Fandango. You know, get out there, you know, watch it, enjoy it, spread the word. You know, write us a review. If you love it, great. If you hate it, great. We'll still take the review. Listen, if I don't have haters, I ain't doing shit. So please talk about me, whether you like me or not. You know, fuck what you heard, believe what you see. You know, this is hard work and dedication. You know, Catalyst is 9 years in the making, fam. You know, we started shooting this project in June 2017. We started planning it in 2016.
It's a pre-COVID, baby.
Yeah. Also tell you this, 50% of the dialogue in the entire film was completely made up on the spot, completely improvised. So we shot one full day of 7 men in a warehouse, stay in character, no rehearsal, 3 cameras, all improvised dialogue. We've got 7 hours of improvised dialogue. Christopher Folk is my director, expertly cut it together down to about 50 minutes. And then we used that. And then we wrote the rest of the screenplay that was informed by the improvisation.
Good gosh. Ladies and gentlemen worldwide, I don't even have to repeat myself on this. I said it for RZR. I'm definitely saying for Catalyst. You're watching the interview. After the interview, I don't even know what to tell you to binge first. RZR or Catalyst. Both of these going to have you on the edge of your seat. You know what? Call out of work tomorrow. Stay up all night. Watch RZR. Watch Catalyst. You want to make sure you don't miss none of this. This is crazy, man. David is he's on fire right now, man. This guy's throwing in cast that'll uppercut you right dead in your face. There's no boring cast on either one of these. You better make sure you pay attention. Big shout outs to the whole cast and crew of Catalyst. Big shout outs to the whole cast and crew of RZR. Big shout outs to all of you that's about to go to Amazon Prime after this interview and sit there and watch Catalyst. And then you will go to social media, click on the links, and you're going to watch RZR, and you're going to be tired in the morning. And that's right, blame it on Coop, because I told you about to stay up all night and watch all of this. You ain't getting no sleep tonight. You definitely not. Now, David, is there any other projects that you're working on right now that you want the world to know about?
Right now I'm developing the sequel to RZR right now. We haven't gone shooting yet, but I'm developing that. And yeah, I'm developing a slate of projects, but right now working on the release of RZR, because that's going to come out as a feature film worldwide. And you know, those are the things that I'm really excited about right now. And obviously Catalyst, you know, you got to keep moving. You look like a physically fit guy. You probably played ball when you were a kid. You know, what did coach always say? Chop your feet so you hear the fucking whistle blow. Yep. I haven't heard the whistle, so I'm going to keep chopping my feet. Keep chopping your feet, son. Don't stop chopping your feet. You know, I don't care if you got grass in your helmet. Keep chopping your feet. And, you know, and that's how we play this game, you know, of entertainment. You know, we're entrepreneurs unto ourselves. So we have to get ourselves out of bed. We have to stay in purpose. We have to stay in our flow. And I tell you, man, one of the hardest things is really, really maintaining that purpose. It's like, what's getting you out of bed on Monday?
Mm,
You know, like, how are you staying out of your own way?
that's true. That's true.
So that's one of the things that I really work on a daily basis, like waking up every day, having a sense of gratitude, saying, I get the opportunity to do this.
Yes.
You know, I get the opportunity to show up and inspire people and carry a message of inspiration, abundance, and hope. And those messages transcend to the things that I produce, you know, whether it's, you know, my films that are told in spoken word poetry that are about, you know, Black consciousness, or that are about, so many other social political topics, or whether the things that I inject into the movies I produce, you know, I want to leave the world a better place, hopefully, you know, and that's what drives me to kind of do the things that I do. Like, I want to leave a body of work that will be discussed in 2070.
Whew.
You know,
well, congratulations. You're on the right road for that right now.
and I'm just getting warmed up. So, you know, I appreciate the opportunity to shine a light on this stuff, you know.
Of course. Now, David, how can everybody follow you on social media so they can keep up with everything that you're doing? The latest.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm on X. I'm on Instagram, David Bianchi Official. On TikTok, David Bianchi. You know, just Google me, find me on the internets. You know, I'm available. I'm accessible, and always putting out messages. Catalyst Movie is the Instagram handle for Catalyst. RZR series for RZR, and yeah, just reach out. And if you're an artist and, you know, you're hitting a roadblock, follow me on Instagram. I'm always putting out messages of how to keep moving. You know, that's the goal. How do we keep moving?
That's what I'm talking about. Ladies and gentlemen worldwide, make sure you follow him on Instagram. You never know. Is he going to announce the next feature film he said he's doing another one that's coming up, part 2 of RZR? Will he talk about it on Instagram? Will he talk about it on X? Guess what? There's only one way to find out. You follow him on every platform so you can find out what he's talking about next. Make sure you do that. Now, David, this is the last segment of the show. It is called Take the Floor. Now, you have up to 2 minutes to say whatever you want. No questions asked. David Bianchi, take the floor.
I retract sober thoughts when I relapse in my raps and be that time signature, hustle tactics. I don't give a shit of who's the hottest, who's the baddest. I eat meat on flesh beats, carnivorous raps for me. Yo, gristle tweaks. Ha ha, spit out the teeth. The struggle's universal, down low or high rise. Get caught up with the knuckles, see beyond that with your third eye. Conflict resolution, maximum or minimum. I'm smarter, not harder, let the next nigga finish them. I keep it pushing to the pace of evolution. Survival of the fittest is the noodles that you're using. I try to keep it focused, don't emulate hocus pocus. While y'all trying to get your eagle on, I'm praying for the hopeless. My butterfly effect and resolution that I follow. Conquest, conquer every day. Now switch the model. Don't play my life and roll the dice on credit card decisions. No bullets in my body, don't need surgical incisions. The body of the life is the abundance you envision. If God is everywhere, then he's in my voice and diction, in a needle eye, writing on his beat, precision. No fiction, just listen. No fiction, just listen. Just listen, adjust your own condition. Let's go.
Woo. Now, we'll let you know I'm going to continue this to finish off the show. That's right, people will keep you in the loop. I had David Bianchi on the Bit Scoop with Coop. Freestyling like this, I do it all day. You better go catch out RZR and Catalyst. Gonna let you know I'm about to save the day. Now, everybody, there's a board on the show. You can go on right now, but Catalyst the way to go playing. Now, David, I want to say, man, thank you for coming on the show. And I'd love to have you back on in the future.
Man, my man, bro, Coop, keep rising, bro. I appreciate your time, man. And thank you for putting a spotlight on this project and on these projects. And yeah, shout out to everybody, man. Keep stay inspired. Lead by example.
That's what I'm talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, my next guest on the Bit Scoop with Coop is, you know I don't announce my next guest. You better follow me on social media at the Bit Scoop with Coop to keep up with the latest and greatest of what's going on. Until next time, people, on the Bit Scoop with Coop. Peace.